On today's very special Battlefront II video, I'll be bringing a ton of new footage and answering your questions about the upcoming video game. Hey guys, this is Eckhart Slatter. Hello and welcome to my Battlefront 2 Q&A video. As some of you may know, I was lucky enough to go to Redwood Shores and visit EA's headquarters, where I got to play the entirety of Battlefront 2 over a 2-day period. Since then, I've been taking your questions about the game, and finally today, I can speak about the multiplayer portion of Battlefront 2. We'll cover single player later, but right now let's focus on the other game modes. Because I've received so many questions, I've enlisted the help of one of my favorite Battlefront 2 YouTubers for this video. My friend Andrew from Bombastic will be answering some questions here, and will also be making his own video. Between the two of these, I think you should get a really good idea of how multiplayer is shaping up. With the introduction out of the way, let's take a look now at the actual questions. I got these from the Battlefront 2 subreddit, my Discord, and Twitter. Links for all three are down in the description. The first question is about heroes versus villains, and specifically how the new heroes versus villains mode works. Well, it's a version of the game mode that most people would call VIP. In that mode, your team has to protect a very important person while also trying to kill the other team's VIP. In Heroes vs. Villains, each team gets randomly assigned one hero which they must protect, while also trying to kill the other hero. Once one of the heroes is killed, both teams have their VIP switched. When you die, you can easily choose another hero, so long as they haven't been selected by someone else. The game mode is a lot of fun. The heroes interact really nicely together, and although there isn't technically a penalty for dying if you're not VIP, the spawn time is 10 seconds, and having one hero down when there's only 4 on each team is a massive disadvantage. Regarding hero balancing, Andrew will address that later on in the video, but I will just say, even the most unlikely of heroes have their place in Heroes vs. Villains. Princess Leia, for example, should not be scoffed at. Her abilities are phenomenal, and her roll ability makes her very difficult to hit. The next question is about Starfighter Assault. Specifically, what are the First Order and Resistance bombers? Well, actually, right now these two factions do not have a bomber. Rather, they have their own interceptor types and their own multi-role fighters. For the Resistance, that's an X-Wing and an A-Wing, and for the First Order, that's the TIE FO and the TIE FO SF. So right now, the factions don't have 3 space units, rather they have 2. On to my next question, people have been wondering what degree of customization is available for both troops and vehicles. Andrew will talk about troops and heroes later on, but for vehicles at least, I didn't see any customization options, at least aesthetically, whatsoever. All of the customization seems to be tied directly to the star card system. The next question is, I heard that Hoth will be the largest map in the game. If you played on it, was it difficult to find other players, or was it about the same as Theed? So that's an interesting question. Due to the nature of Galactic Assault, specifically with how the maps are usually separated into 3 or 4 rounds, it's kind of difficult to guess which one is actually the largest. I will say Hoth certainly did have its large points, but so did Kashyyyk, Camino, and really most of the Galactic Assault maps. That being said, I do think that the maps were well suited for 20 versus 20 play, and most of the objectives or rounds were designed with that player number in mind. To be honest, because of the sheer amount of content we had to cover in 2 days and the variety of maps, game modes, and what have you, I didn't get to play the same map in the same context more than a couple of times, so this will be a question that you'll be more able to answer yourself once you play the game for a while. So let's move on. The question that you guys seem to be most interested in is the offline portion of the game. So I'm going to take this question and kind of expand it into a larger understanding of how the game works generally. So there are 3 modes: campaign mode, which has what you'd expect in it, campaign; multiplayer mode, which has the various online multiplayer functions; and then for offline gaming there was arcade. Within arcade, you can play either solo, co-op, or versus. I'm not sure whether offline co-op is available for the PC, but I'm 95% certain that it is available for the PS4. I didn't get to try it, but I did spend a good amount of time playing the solo mode. Within solo arcade, you can either play one of the custom scenarios on various maps, or make your own. Within this custom scenario, you can choose the AI behavior, how powerful they are, how numerous they are, the objective, whether you're playing as heroes, villains, or just ordinary troopers. You can even set things like how many lives you have to create an interesting experience. I did play through several of the arcade scenarios as well. Each one of them has 3 levels of difficulties, and I believe you're rewarded in relation to the difficulty that you beat the level on. I believe that most of the objectives for the arcade missions are a pretty standard horde mode, so defeat a certain number of enemies. I didn't see any other objectives possible, but I didn't play very far through the actual dedicated scenarios. I spent most of my time playing custom mode to capture footage for my mall invader videos. So unfortunately, I can't speak definitively about the depth here, but I can say, at this moment at least, there is no skirmish mode, and arcade is the place for most of your offline play. On Twitter, I was asked any possibility of cross-era game modes like the Clone Rebellion on Kamino or the Droid Rebellion on Mustafar. So far, it seems that most of the maps are tied to a specific era, so it seems like Naboo is only playable by the Republic in the Confederacy of Independent Systems. At least right now, there's no cross-era play. That being said, all of the heroes can be used in any matchup, as we saw during the beta. Most of the factions play pretty similarly anyway, besides for their special units. For example, your weapons for each class carry over and are used in the same way for each faction. I do just want to take a second right now to explain that this is all the basic information as I understand it. If there are any corrections I need to make, I'll make sure to do so down in the comments in a pinned comment. I'll also take a look at any questions that you guys ask me here and try to respond to them as much as possible. Unfortunately, there's only so many things I can answer in one video. I will, however, answer a few more questions. One thing that was asked a few times is whether you can unlock things while playing offline. The answer to that is yes. You can unlock credits to open up packs, but I believe you are capped at a certain amount of credits that you can earn for any single day. There are, however, also things like challenges where you can earn credits and parts necessary to build and unlock cards and other things. Finally, someone asked whether all the Galactic Assault maps are as linear as Theed. The answer to that is no. The maps vary quite significantly. Some are more shooting galleries at the beginning, like Tatooine or Jakku for example, while some make heavy use of things like vehicles at the beginning, like Kashyyyk for example. All in all, the maps vary quite significantly in how they play. That's all that I'm going to say for now. I've tried to avoid giving any sort of subjective opinion in this video. I will give a full impressions video on both multiplayer and single player at a later time. For now, here's Bombastic to answer some questions, and don't forget to check out his channel later where he's also answered some different ones and given his perspective on some things that I also talked about here.
Hey everyone, it's Andrew from Bombastic. How is hero balancing and who is the best hero? Well, that really depends on your playstyle and what works for you. Heroes are a bit different to 2015's Battlefront as they have different abilities and can regenerate health, and some heroes are obviously better at certain things than others. For example, Darth Maul needs to be played super aggressively. Yoda is very small and quick. Kylo was great at stunning enemies. Leia and Lando were great with range. Honestly, I thought both the hero and villain team had a good balance. Is there any trooper visual customization beyond the emotes and victory poses? At this stage, there's no visual or aesthetic customization for troopers or vehicles. There are a couple of different hero skins such as for Kylo and Rey, but at this stage, that's it. Are maps locked to a specific time of day, or does it change depending on the match? It changes! We were left in awe of just how beautiful some of these maps truly are. Here's Hoth during the day, Hoth's sunset, Kashyyyk has a few changes. These changes really kept the maps feeling fresh and unique.
Big thank you to Bombastic for helping me out with this Q&A.
Thanks for having me, man. We also made another video answering more questions on my channel if you want to know more about the new game.
Make sure to check him out and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. He makes lots of really fun gaming content. For more Battlefront 2 new content, check the description box, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of myself and Bombastic, may the Force be with you.
AT is taking damage.